Today on The Sharp Reality, why black men have become disenfranchised with the black church. Plus, I gotta put an ugly ass bitch on blast who's in no position to be making demands on a man in terms of what she will or will not do in a relationship. TSR Live starts right now.
Previously on TSR Live.
If you get married, gentlemen, she'll get fat. She's not going to suck your dick anymore. She gets a bitchy attitude, and before you know it, you're only fucking her once a month because she told you she'd let you fuck her if you bought her the new iPhone or whatever useless overpriced gadget she saw on TV. A woman is typically on her best behavior when she senses you might propose or when she's trying to pressure you into marrying her. She stays fit, she sucks your cock, she takes it in the ass, she wears slutty clothes for you. She's the perfect woman. But all that ends as soon as the honeymoon's over.
And now your man, Donovan Sharp.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to this edition of TSR Live, presented by Happy Hippo Herbals, home of the highest quality kratom on earth. I use the Rockstar Hippo strain today. There it is on your screen, which is actually a fast strain. Gave me a lot of energy this morning at the gym, so I had a great workout. Go to happyhippoherbals.com where you can find Rockstar Hippo. It is Monday, October 9th, 2017, and happy Columbus Day. Some of you may be enjoying a 3-day weekend, some not so much, but either way, hope everybody had a good weekend. Good, restful, relaxed weekend. I know I did. I know I certainly did. Got a lot of rest, got a lot of sleep. I slept until 8:30 in the morning on Sunday morning. And I'm an early bird. You guys know I'm up at the crack of dawn. I'm up usually between 4 and 4:30 every morning on weekdays. And on weekends, I'm usually up around 6:30, but for whatever reason, on Sunday morning, man, I slept until 8:30. I was probably in bed by like 10:30, 11 o'clock, slept till 8:30. I woke up and I felt like I was behind. Did a couple of shows with O'Shea Duke Jackson over the weekend. Had a lot of fun over there. A lot of haters that like to show up in those shows, but we always roast those fuckers, so that was certainly definitely a good time. Before I get into today's topic, I want to take a little time to roast a bitch for some dumb shit that she said, because clearly she didn't watch the entire video, and she appears to be really as ugly as homemade sin. So I'm gonna put her ugly ass on blast today and teach her ugly ass a lesson. So here's what she said. So this woman says that looks like her username is TH3AZ Scorpio. Surveillance on a woman's devices? Hell no. Would you agree to your woman having access to your same devices? If not, why should it be a requirement of only her? That's possessive on another level. That's just a control freak.
Previously on TSR Live.
If you get married, gentlemen. Nope, sorry about that. So, now here's the thing, guys. Never mind the fact that never mind the fact that I don't give a shit if a woman tries to demand that she have access to my shit, and that this is not a relationship, but it's a dictatorship. Okay, never mind that, yes, I am possessive. I've not run away from that, and a control freak. And every woman I have ever made my main chick post red pill knows and understands these things very well, and they respond quite well to them. Forget all that. A woman who looks like this, okay, has absolutely no business saying hell no to anything a man asks her to do, all right? Shit, is bitches as ugly as a bitch like you? I don't know who you are, Scorpio, whatever. Bitch, you are the last thing. The last thing that you should have a problem with is surveillance, because A, nobody wants your ugly ass, and 2, you won't have any side dick to surveil, all right? Listen, nobody's trying to make your ugly ass his main chick. That's what I mean. Baby girl, goddamn, like honestly, you're in no position to be making any kind of demands or involving yourself, in any sort of negotiations with regards to any relationship with anyone. A bitch who looks like you has no choice but to shut the fuck up, say yes sir, and do whatever the fuck he wants you to do. Because if you do get a chance to tell a man yes sir, you should get on your knees and thank God from heaven above that he sent someone down for your ugly ass. Unfucking believable. All right, so let's go ahead and get on to it. I figured I'd teach that bitch a lesson. Unfucking believable. Like ugly bitches out here talking about, well, I wouldn't do this. no, you won't do that because you're not going to get the opportunity to do that. Anyway, so today I'm going to talk about why men are abandoning the church. Black men in particular are abandoning the church at an increasing rate these days. Religion has always been a staple in the American culture, and having been raised in the church myself, I was raised in the Baptist church. It seemed like everyone that I knew went to church. I think I saw a stat a while back that said something like 85% of Americans identified themselves as Christians. I'm not sure how accurate that was at the time, but I'm pretty sure it's nowhere close to that now. And I think that most people who have stopped going to church and have pretty much abandoned religion are probably black men. Now, I could be biased because I am a black man, but from a red pill point of view, it certainly seems that way, at least from my vantage point. So years ago, when I lived in Atlanta, I noticed that there seemed to be more billboards advertising churches more than any other business out there. Yes, there was the occasional ad for a plumber or some sort of service or goods, but the majority of the advertisements, it seemed, were for churches in the greater Atlanta area. So I started thinking about all of the experiences that I've had with different churches throughout my life, and it finally dawned on me that religion wasn't really a religion anymore. It was an industry. Black men have started to figure this out. Actually, this is men of all colors, but black men, again, more particularly, because the number of black men are declining in American churches. And this is across all denominations. This is just how it is. The bottom line is that black men have become disenfranchised with the black church. We've been talking, if you guys go to any sort of, if you guys look at any black YouTuber, O'Shea Duke Jackson, Tommy Sotomayor, Jada Black, etc., etc., you can go to the website called Slaying Evil. We've been talking about black church fuckery for years, but the internet sort of allowed people to share stories and to talk about their experiences. It's as though black men started to figure out that, hey, this bullshit doesn't just happen at my church. So we've stopped going altogether. Then there's the issue of whether or not men believe in the existence of God. I mean, I happen to be in a bit of a transitional period myself. Again, I was raised in the church as a kid, but the older I get, the more that the very concept of a deity as we define it as a people seems unlikely. I'm not saying I believe there's a God. I'm not saying I don't, but I'm not nearly as certain as I once was. And a lot of men out there feel the same way. A lot of men out there are, I don't want to say they're afraid, but that seems to be religion as far as whether there's a God or not. That's a very polarizing topic. Unless you want to, it doesn't matter. Whoever you're arguing with, if they believe there's a God or if they don't believe there's a God, it's always going to be, it's just not worth getting into a debate over. You're not going to change anyone's mind, and they're damn sure not going to, nothing that anybody says is going to change your mind unless it's profound. Experience changes people. Same with the red pill. We can talk all we want about the red pill. The red pill sinks in for men who seek it, men who have had things done to them, sexual frustration, heartbreak, etc. Anyway, I talked about my transitional period way back in episode 7. So guys, way back in episode 7. This was actually around last Christmas, so be sure to go and check that out. But getting back to the church, there are many reasons why men have stopped going, but rather than getting into all of the psychological and ecumenical, theological reasons, I'll just talk about a few of the simple ones that have started a mass exodus of black men from church here in the States. And the first reason, I think, which is one of the biggest, is that today's churches they're nothing more than a money hustle. That's what they are. I'll never forget a conversation I had with a guy I was working at a warehouse in Atlanta. It was at a warehouse in McDonough, which is just outside of Atlanta, one of the skirts. And he and I had become good friends because we had a lot in common. Anyway, we were talking about some church that his girl had talked him into trying, but he told me that it took just one service for them to decide not to go back. And all the reasons had to do with money. And I thought to myself, okay, all of the reasons, as in plural, they only ask for tithe once a service, don't they? Well, he told me when they walked into this church, he said it looked like a palace. It was like a warehouse on the outside. It was that big, and then on the inside, everything was fancy. He talked about marble floors, mahogany this, velvet that. palatial church, but as soon as he walks in, 2 ATMs in a lobby. And he also said that there was a Starbucks coffee, a full service Starbucks coffee shop in a church. And 2 ATMs. All right. So that right there, you've got red flags going off. Listen, I like ATM machines and I like Starbucks, but I don't want, if I were a church going individual, I wouldn't want to mix those two together. I love spaghetti. I like peanut butter. I'm not mixing spaghetti and the peanut butter. That's kind of how this equates to me. So anyway, when the service started, the pastor started talking about some project they needed money for. And he told me that the reason he had started talking about the project is originally they needed $500,000 for this project. And I forget what he told me it was, but the preacher had to tell the parishioners to stop giving money because they had given over $750,000. $750,000 when they asked for $500,000. That's how suckered these people. And this is a huge church, 30,000 member congregation. So anyway, he says before the service, the sermon began, the deacons, passed around the collection plate and all that good stuff. And so my buddy and his girlfriend filled out the new parishioner cards and, they dropped it in the plate, which of course was filled to the brim with cash and checks, as he put it. Now, he said the sermon was great. He didn't specify which church he went to. My guess, I don't know. He might have gone to Creflo Dollars or Eddie Long's. This was back in 2004. So it's been a while. Anyway. But he said, the people seemed all right. It seemed to be his kind of church. But he said that later that week, he said it was like middle of the week, Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever, they got a phone call from someone working at the church call center asking why they hadn't tithed that week and when to expect last year's W-2s, presumably to accurately calculate their weekly tithe. That church demanded money at every turn before, during, and after the service, and even when they were at home. It was unbelievable. That sort of thing is off-putting to people anyway, regardless of race. But the prevalence of these money grabs is much more pronounced in black churches, and these days black preachers don't even try to hide it. You hear about preachers in the Atlanta area, just like I said, Eddie Long, who actually died this past January. I think he died in late January, and of course Creflo Dollar, who owns these guys. They own these multi-million-dollar mansions. They have like these fleet of luxury vehicles. They've got their net worth is 7-8 figures. These guys don't even make an effort to hide their money. They're out there flying on private jets. They've got all this expensive jewelry, bodyguards, limousines, all these possessions, and they're not out here. They are not here for being modest. They're not here for that. Black preachers, black pastors are the most flamboyant out there when it comes to flaunting what they have financially. And the reason for this is that the reason they have this wealth is because they build their wealth on the backs of the black community, and black men are tired of financing their lifestyles. Yes, guys, money is necessary to keep a church afloat, but when a pastor's net worth is near $30 million, I think Creflo Dollar's net worth is worth $27 million. That rubs people the wrong way, especially the average everyday brother who just wants a church led by someone he can identify with and lives a comparatively modest lifestyle. No, preachers don't have to drive a Toyota Camry, but goddamn, do you have to be flying private jets? I mean, do you have to take a Mercedes limousine Hummer stretch limo to church? Like, there's no need for that. And at the end of the day, men are being hustled by preachers in the name of God, and they're pissed off about it. So they've stopped going to church. You guys can find me on Twitter at Donovan_Sharp. You can also find me on Instagram, username The Sharp Reality, no spaces. You can like my Facebook page, TSR Live with Donovan Sharp. Also, add me on Facebook. Just do a search for Donovan Sharp. Be sure to add me. Trying to get this, as you come into the chat section, guys, as you're coming into the video, be sure to like the video. I'm trying to get to 100 plus likes per video so that we can increase the profile of the show. Obviously, I want to increase the profile of the show so that we can get this to 1,000 subscribers so that I can go ahead and activate super chat and do all that stuff. My main channel is still on suspension, and it's going to be on suspension until about Christmas. I think it's probably a few days before then, but I'm just going to say it's Christmas time. Guys, hit the subscribe button. If you know anyone who could benefit from watching the show, send them the link, subscribe. Again, you don't have to be a witness. You don't have to say, hey, this guy Donovan Sharp's going to set you straight. Just characterize it as, hey, found this guy Donovan Sharp on YouTube. He's got some interesting ideas. Here, I'm going to send you the link. Tell me what you think. Just kind of put it like that. All right, let's get into the chat and see who is in the house here. Let's see what we've got going on here. All right. Oh, wait a minute. All right. There we go. All right. So, all right, you go. Oh, wow, you guys have started off strong. Excellent. Tufik Lawal, I'm just going to call you TL, says, salute, huge fan. Good to see you. Boss Wavy, what's going on? Everything's good, man. Everything's good. Deep 1985, shout out to you. Boss Wavy did have a 3-day weekend. All right, good. Said just been getting some good sleep and getting my workout in. I'm fortunate enough in my situation now that I don't have to work a job. I don't have to have a 9 to 5. So, I get 7-day weekends. Trebattle says this chick is looking everywhere. I swear to God, look, the bitch had 2 lazy eyes. You ever seen a bitch with 2 lazy eyes? Or, you know what? You ever seen a bitch with two lazy eyes talking about, hell no, I'm not going to do this? Like, bitch, like, you is ugly. Like, if any man wants to stick his dick in you, it would behoove you to do whatever the fuck he wants to keep his ass around. Jesus Christ. Boss Wavy says she can look at mine. I don't care. LOL. She's a thought because she's got men in the double digits trying to fuck mostly simps. Straight up. Freelance running in the house. Good to see you. Eric P. Do what Eric P says. Hit the likes, gentlemen. Shout out to Eric P. Trebattle says, if not Christian, lots identify as Protestants. Boss Wavy says, ATL, the land of hoes and homosexuals. SMH. Yeah, the city of Atlanta has a very high homosexual population. That's for sure. Good stuff. Trebattle says the Black Christian Church is losing the more zealous men to groups like the Hebrew Israelites. I'm not up on the church or theological discussions, but if that's the truth, then that is very interesting. Very interesting. Freelance Ronan says, damn, pumpkin spice Jesus. Listen, this was back in 2004. And the reason I remember this being back in 2004 is because that was the Eagles' dream season where we went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Patriots. But yeah, like that was, like when he told me this stuff, I remember I was on it was actually not a forklift. It was a reach truck. So it was a high lift. We used to go all the way up to like the 6th level and me pulling down, product or whatever. And I'm sitting there and my forks are like, 20 feet in the air. Of course, that's a safety hazard. But I'm sitting there, my mouth is wide fucking open as he's telling me this shit. I'm like, holy fucking shit, man. Unbelievable. Turbattle says, many men desire a masculine call to action. The Black Church no longer provides that. No, it does not. No, it does not. That's a very good point. Very good point. Jeffrey A says, I hear that some churches even have ATMs. Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what I was just talking about. Freelance Ronan says, he's agreeing with Turbattle. He says, you're right, Turbattle. The Black Church is now very emasculated, more hungry. Well, think about this, guys. What does the Black Church attract? It attracts black women. What do black women like to do? They like to emasculate black men. You think black men are going to stick around for that shit? Fuck no. Samaj says, what up, y'all? I love church. A good one only points out the parallels between Red Pill and Christianity. A good one? Okay. Maybe. Jeff says some of these black pastors are simps. We might get into that. ETF42 says the Black Church died with the rest of the black community back in the 1960s. I was talking to someone about that the other day, and he equates the decline of the Black Church with the decline of the black community. I don't know if I agree with it. I don't know what I don't, but I know that as soon as churches, and this is churches of all denominations, of all racial makeups, is that the church started going downhill when they started pandering to women. Back when I was Catholic, me and my ex-wife Darcy, we went to this one church. It was out in Clayton, North Carolina. It was called St. Anne. It was out in Clayton, North Carolina, and they had altar girls, like female altar girls. Like, where the hell do you find female altar girls? It was unbelievable. It's like everybody's trying to keep up. It's like even religion now is succumbing to the feminist narrative, and the Black Church most especially. Okay, hang on a second. Give me a second. Oh, wait a minute. Wow, you guys are texting fast. Dominic Lewis says, what's up, Donovan? Had to say something about the bitch you put on blast. That bitch is built like Arm and Dangerous Couch Pillow. Yeah, dude. She has 2 lazy eyes, straight up. Trebattle says the black church is for women and soft-hearted men. There you go. That is absolutely right. That's absolutely right. Ooh, Charles Merchant coming strong, says there is no such thing as a black Christian church. There are pastors and charlatans. Love it. Love it. Kevin Samuels, what's up? Shout out to you. Augustus Caesar says, when I used to go to church, my church was full of fags and post-wall women who went all in for Jesus after 500 guys went all in their pussy. We'll get into that later, too. Her firstborn son says, I have a spiritual relationship with God. I would never step foot in a church ever unless I'm getting married and go to a funeral. Fair enough. Dominic Lewis says, who the fuck is she to talk? She looks like she be protesting against low calories. Bruh, she protests against low calories and exercise. I'm telling you, man. Trebattle, again. The church no longer offers a positive male identity. I'm telling you, the only positive male identity is Jesus Christ. And even then, they're starting to undermine him. It's unbelievable. He in the Deluxe says, as a straight Atlanta resident, I can confirm some of us are still fighting the good fight. Well, you know. Oh, he says, don't remind me of that Super Bowl. You went to high school with Dhani Jones. How about that? I remember Dhani Jones had a short stint with the Bengals, but yeah. Ooh. God almighty. We had the better team, man. We were a better team than the Patriots that day. We had everybody. Trebattle says, when the Pope and the rest of the church has started accepting anything and demand nothing in terms of behavior, just money, and parishioners no longer respect it. Yeah, that whole new wave or second wave Catholicism thing, man, they really turned a lot of people away. You know, a lot of people wanted to keep it old school. So Alex Garcia says, agree, the church definitely does not offer positive identity. I used to be a crazy religious altar boy for 3 years. Then in a class, we watched this movie called the Zeitgeist. Says, made me question everything. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly. I've never heard of that. Lewis Key correctly points out, I stopped going to church. They offer no real world solutions. They only sell hope. Women are the biggest buyers. Guys, Lewis Key nailed it. The church sells hope. They sell emotions. There's no practical application with today's religion. Believe in God, trust in God, live the right life. It's all theories and feelings, and this is why women buy into it the most. The church can never offer any sort of hard, like, hey, here is what you do to live a better life. Shit, man, dude, TSR Live will teach you more shit than the church ever would about real life and the way real shit is. Get out of here with that. Good point, Lewis Key. Very good point. Charles Merchant says the black church is a microcosm of the community, a whoremonger male fronting for a matriarchy. Yeah. Dude, you even hear of women preachers now, like women pastors. Like, what the fuck is that? Like Dwayne Wade's mom, like Dwayne Wade, love him, went to Marquette, Miami Heat guys, now at the Cavaliers. His mother was a preacher. Like, what the fuck? I couldn't imagine that. Freelance says there are no solutions, just emotionalist doctrine. It's a weekly pep rally. Yep. That's what it's come down to. That is what... Oh, okay, so I did pronounce it right. The Zeitgeist. Had no idea. Trebattle says many churches are clubs for old people. I would actually I would actually raise you and say many churches are clubs, period. There's a thin dude, my ex-wife used to listen to Jimmy Buffett, and one song that she used to listen to was Fruitcakes. Well, one line he said, there's a thin line between Saturday night and Sunday morning, and he was absolutely telling the truth. Okay, so moving right along, another reason why black men have abandoned the black church. Guys, this one's easy. Preachers are fucking wives and girlfriends on the regular. A woman's true nature, guys, will always drive her to consolidate on the highest value males available to her. Again, this is what we define as hypergamy. It's not good, it's not bad, it just is. We can all hate on, well, women married him because he's rich, or she left the fat guy for an in-shape guy, or she cheated on her husband with someone who was richer, better looking, had a big cock. Guys, this is the circle of life. This is how it works. This is why game is necessary. Game and masculinity is necessary for you to be successful with women. If you don't stay in shape, then guess what? Your woman's gonna leave, and you got to take care of your shit anyway. It's the same way women. It's how women are wired. Okay, it's similar to the way men are wired. To fuck as many pretty girls that are available to us. That's not good. It's not bad. This is just how we are. Same thing, guys. Pastors are rich. They're charismatic. They have status, and a lot of them have a measure of celebrity within the confines of their community. And because of this, dude, these guys are crushing more pussy than dudes like me who have actually dedicated time and effort to fucking pretty girls. Preachers never have to run game. The pussy literally just comes to them. Think about this. The average congregation is full of females who salivate over the idea of just being in the presence of a celebrity preacher. When they get like a hello or even a handshake, it's a turn on. It's a turn on for women. You guys can see it. You ever notice that women are always the ones who insist on saying hi to the pastor on the way out? All right. Dudes are never like, hey, let's go completely out of our way, stand in line, be late for kickoff or late to lunch just to say hi to Pastor John. It never happens. Okay. You guys that still go to church, pay attention to a woman's body language when she's shaking hands with the preacher during that post-service greeting. That'll tell you all you need to know. And at that point, all it takes is for the pastor to do is to make a few moves. And the next thing you know, Pastor John's cock is balls deep in your wife's or girlfriend's ass. This is how it works. And because most women who attend the church aren't single, the pastor ends up fucking a lot of wives and a lot of girlfriends. Guys, black dudes, listen, dudes ain't trying to expose their women and their relationships to that kind of risk. So they stay the fuck away. The last and final reason that I will point out here in terms of why black men are now staying away, are disenfranchised with the black church, is all the fake shit going on. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Guys, listen, we see the shenanigans that go on in churches on television all the time. You see these paralyzed people, right? We see these paralyzed people. They're being wheeled onto a stage where the pastor touches him or her on the head, and then they're suddenly magically healed, and they get up and they start breakdancing like Michael Jackson with everyone looking on in amazement as if the whole thing wasn't just staged like 5 minutes ago. All right? Speaking in tongues, that's another ridiculous fucking charade these black churches engage in to show that they're feeling the spirit. Oh, hallelujah. Get the fuck out of here with that. We as men, we're a lot of things, okay? We're shallow, we're selfish, we're violent, we're greedy, we're all that bad shit. But we ain't dumb, man. Anyone with a half a fucking brain knows that someone's sitting next to them, shaking like a fucking leaf with their eyes rolled in the back of their head and mumbling some sort of gibberish. They're not feeling anything outside of the sweat in their armpits. That's what the fuck they're feeling. The fact that we're expected to join in and at the very least believe that what we're seeing is some sort of miracle or supernatural occurrence, that's an insult to our collective intelligence as men, guys. That's what that comes down to. Now here's the thing. Black women, they don't buy into that shit either. But the hive-minded tendencies they have don't allow them to stay away, and it doesn't allow them to vocalize it, that they're wise to what's really going on. As men, we have enough counterfeit to bullshit or counterfeit bullshit to sift through on a daily basis to make sure that we don't get got by women and the feminist culture all around us. All right, dealing with all that stuff at church, that's not worth it anymore. So then you have to ask yourself: is there a change in sight? Well, no, there isn't, guys. Because as long as status, money, and power and women are the rewards for becoming a preacher in one of these mega churches in a black community, these guys are going to continue to pop up and continue the cycle of pastors who amass great wealth and fuck whatever females they want in their congregation. That's how it goes. That's all there is to it. And that's the end of it. I did my first volume of my new series, Donovan's Den, this past weekend. Donovan's Den is an exclusive content available to my listeners for just $5 a month on Patreon. Subscribe to Donovan's Den for only $5 per month, guys. Donovan's Den it's kind of an accelerated supplement for those of you out there who are looking for a little bit of an advantage in your red pill development, kind of like a weekly jump start to help you guys achieve your goals the right way and maybe accomplish them a little bit more quickly. Listen, nobody accomplishes red pill nirvana, I guess as it were, overnight. But if I had a guy like me when I first took the red pill, I'd be much further along than I am even now. I would have accomplished things much more quickly. So go to patreon.com/Donovan Sharp. You can also go to my YouTube channel or my website, and you will find the link to subscribe. It's just 37 cents a day, and you can get access to all of these videos that are packed with valuable, actionable guidance and instruction that you'll be able to put into action immediately and start making a difference in your everyday lives. This past weekend's edition was how to kill your approach anxiety, how to not be scared to approach pretty girls, and the one that I'll be doing this coming weekend are the most common shit tests and how to overcome them in any situation, whether on a first date, on a first meetup, in a relationship, in a marriage, etc., etc. So be sure to check that out. Again, go to patreon.com/Donovan Sharp to subscribe to Donovan's Den today. So let's jump back in the chat here. Wow, holy moly, you guys are kicking ass here. Aunt James says, "What up, Don?" He says, "I left the black church years ago when a pastor asked every family for $100 for his anniversary." What? Are you serious with that shit? Like a pastor actually asked? Oh, he asked every family for $100 for his. My God, Jesus! But just when you think you've heard it all, and shout out to Aunt James. Aunt James has subscribed to Donovan's Den. So has Freelance Ronan. He has also subscribed to Donovan's Den, as has Lewis Key. So shout out to you guys for subscribing to Donovan's Den. Definitely appreciate your contributions, and I'm going to definitely bring the fire every weekend for you guys. Freelance Ronan says this show is fire already. You're goddamn right it is. Not to mock anybody, but the funny thing is, man, is like I said, man, I've been in a little bit of a transitional period in my life with regards to whether or not I think there's a God. I'm not sure. I want to believe, man, but like you think of, I don't know, you think of it like this, right? If there was a woman in the Middle East who became pregnant and who became pregnant but she told everyone that she is a virgin, would we believe that? No. We'd laugh our asses off. So what makes us think, even without the internet or technology, like people, I don't know, man, like to me that, I'm not saying it's impossible. I mean, I'm probably going to hell. If there is a God, I'm probably going to hell for this particular show anyway. But to me, that kind of stuff is just hard to believe. Like Moses and the parting of the Red Sea, like how exactly did that happen? Like I don't know, man. Like some of this stuff is really, really hard to believe, man. It really is. And I want to believe, but the older I get, the tougher it is to believe, man. It's just, I don't know. Let's see. Charles Merchant says, "I could never stomach bastard churches that keep people as sheep." Yeah, they all are. Turbato says, "Eddie Long was touching these boys." I heard about that. He was under some sort of investigation, but, he's either, listen, I'll tell you what, he's either in heaven, hell, or purgatory now, so. Boss Wavy says, "All they want to do is dance and fuck the church members in power." Example, the pastor, the deacon, the choir director. Oh, yeah, dude, the pastor, the deacon, and the choir director. Yo, those guys are fucking all the bitches, man. Dude, the pastor, the deacons, and the choir director. The second most powerful man in the church is the choir director. That guy gets the slap. Like the pastor gets his first pick of all the bitches. After he gets done fucking all the bitches, then he passes them to the choir director. And then the choir director passes them to the deacons. Like they pass these bitches around. And it's funny, we can sit here and make fun of it, but this is how it really happens. We think it's so funny. People are under the impression that just because it's a church and that it's a place of God and there's fellowship and worship and all this stuff means that it is exempt from the doctrines of the red pill. Guys, red pill truth is still in the church. Okay? The best looking men, the highest status men, the richest men. Those guys are fucking all the best bitches in the church. This is how it goes. It doesn't matter if you're a Creflo Dollars church or at a Baptist church or if you're in a cult or at a Sunday school class or at a class at a community college. The red pill hierarchy never fails, man. Like this is how it is. Just because you're in, dude, Make no mistake about the fact that the preacher will absolutely fuck your wife in the ass if given half the chance. And trust and believe your wife would absolutely let that happen. Don't get it twisted. Well, he's the preacher. He would never. Oh, trust me. He absolutely would. And he probably has if you start to suspect it. Believe me. Yep, Charles Butcher just said it. In the true church, pastors are not to be alone with female parishioners. Right. If it really were a true church, if they really were about helping people, then everyone would know what the dynamic is. Nah, man, you can't be alone with female parishioners. Shit, man, 5 minutes later, his dick's in her mouth. Fuck that. Fuck out of here. Aunt James says the church is good at feminizing men. 100% agree. 100% agree. Mike Vincent says, what's up, Donovan? I wish you had super chat so I can support you. I know. I wish I did too, but I got a strike. I got a community strike, so I'll be, that's not going to be available till Christmas. But Mike, if you want, you can subscribe to Donovan's Den. You can also drop something in the tip jar and PayPal at the bottom of my homepage, thesharpreality.com. You can also bookmark the Amazon link at the top of my homepage and do all your Amazon shopping through that link. You'll be supporting the show at that point at no cost to you. So, John Creasy, I like that name. That's funny. Sweep the leg. John Creasy says, instead of the church extending morality into the black community, the church is incorporating immorality in the black community into itself. You have pastors pop locking and rapping. I know it's crazy. And it all started with Kirk Franklin, right? Remember Kirk Franklin and the Family? He was fucking every bitch he was singing with. Man, get out of here with that. I like that. Freelance Ronin says, I call the church just another branch of the Matrix. It's there to keep the men emasculated, shamed, and in check while their money is fleeced out of their pockets and the preachers, deacons, and choir directors fuck their wives. Listen, man, the preachers, the deacons, and the choir directors, they exploit the men. They emasculate men while taking their money and fucking their women. That's what this is. That's what the church is now. Straight up. Dominic Lewis says that shit is totally fake, and they actually believe that supernatural bullshit. They really won't. They really would judge you just because you don't react. Yeah, dude. Oh my god, I will never forget this shit. And this is along the same lines. It was no supernatural shit, but I remember I was like maybe 21, 22, and I went to this church that, by the way, was absolute. Dude, the church was split into two because the pastor was fucking wives in the audience. Yes, they were. And good friends of mine at the time, their mothers were victims of this. You would have never thought this shit anyway. I remember I'm at this youth group, right? Because, everyone there is 21, 22. You had a few teenagers in there, high schoolers, whatever. And everyone was feeling the spirit and, confessing their sins, right? They're airing out all their dirty laundry. And that was the very moment at that point, I was like, dude, like, this is bullshit. Like, these people are here airing their dirty laundry. I said, this is nothing more than a strategy to tell the youth directors what their demons are so they can go back and tell the parents. Like, fuck that. So I'm back there in the back. I'm chilling. And I remember this dude comes up and says, son, anytime you want to be a part of this, you just let me know. I was like, oh my God, get the fuck out of here. Like, dude, nobody's buying that bullshit. Give me a break. Samaj says, I love this conversation. Was going to play devil's advocate, but then I realized that this topic is about the black church. Changes everything. Listen, there are a lot of churches that are like this. Like, make no mistake about this, Samaj. A lot of churches engage in this sort of fuckery, but it seems to be much more prevalent in black churches. Us niggas, man. We got to do everything bigger and better, right? That's how this goes. Freelance Ronin says, I listened to Donovan's Den. It was a cool video. Yeah, man. Straight up. I'm telling you. Listen, in the first volume of Donovan's Den, I told you guys how I crushed my approach anxiety. It was a step-by-step approach. It took a little over a month. But now, listen, I'm fearless when I talk to girls, man. Like, there is no problem with me talking to pretty girls, whether or not I want to fuck them. Not that I was ever a shy person, but when you are approaching a woman with the intent of sleeping with her, yeah, the chemistry changes a little bit. And some of that has to do with putting that stuff out of your mind. So that's a little bit of a preview on Volume 1, Donovan's Den. Subscribe, patreon.com/Donovan Sharp, $5 a month, 37 cents a day. Charles Merchant says tithes are not even biblical today. That's a good point. Oh my God. Aunt James says, yes, it was true. The preacher who asked everybody for $100, he said it was less than 30 people in the church. Man, I'll bet you that pastor was counting on that $3,000, bro. I was like, man, I bet he was telling his wife, yeah, you know, it's my anniversary. I'm going to get $100 out of these dumbass motherfuckers. You watch. Unbelievable, man. Yes. Do what Mike Vincent says. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. ETF42 says the Bible is not supposed to be taken literally. It's meta-truth. You know, I've heard stuff like that because the Bible does have metaphors, you know, the parables and everything like that. So, Lawal says, and I'm Muslim, and my problem with religion is that religion is the patience factor. My father used to always say, be patient and let things slide. It's like they're conditioning us to be victims. Yeah, that's part of it. Dominic Lewis says, I left the church because my grandmother's pastor, a woman pastor, asked everyone for money so she can travel the world just to preach. I swear to God. Like they're outright telling people, hey, I need to travel the world so that I can preach, so I need money. Bitch, if you don't get the fuck out of here. Oh, God. Freelance Ronin says, Eddie Long was bathing with boys as well. He was fruitier than a Whole Foods. Oh, God damn, if that's true, that's, ugh. Ugh. Gross. Ay, ay, ay. That's gross, man. That is gross. Turbattle says, the church used to be a place to find a wife. Hell no. Not anymore. You can find a wife in church. Find a wife who's got a built-in cheating strategy. Freelance Ronin says, black preachers are usually ex-pimps and ex-dope dealers. That's why they're so convincing, man. I'm telling you, you got to have that panache, man. You got to have that gravitas, that moxie. Dude, if you're a dope dealer, yeah, you got that moxie, straight up. Junior Roses, good to see you in here. Shout out. Says in Jamaica, the pastors have sex with underage girls, and now boys and the church will defend the pastor for his actions. Oh, unbelievable. Good Lord, man. Darren Brown says, I'm a Mormon in Utah. All churches try to govern the way you think. Yeah. Yeah, that is... I don't know, man. The church is having trouble with the internet now. There we go. All right. Internet's playing games with me here. Oh, man, I'm telling you. I keep putting off getting an Ethernet cable, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and do it. The church is now. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. So John Creasy says, Jehovah's Witnesses in NYC use the hottest chicks. They have to hand out the Watchtower magazine and attack them in a church. Yeah, you know, that's just how it is. Well, that's going to do it for TSR Live, for this edition of TSR Live. Follow me on Twitter at Donovan_Sharp, at Donovan_Sharp, and you can also find me on Instagram. Be sure to add me on Facebook, and don't forget to bookmark the Amazon link at the top of my homepage, thesharpreality.com, to show your support at no cost to you. Thanks for watching, guys. See you tomorrow.